Yo, what is going on, everyone? It's GentooMan here, also known as Rainy, and today's story time is about another encounter I had with a certain species known as My Hero Academia fangirls. Now, I've made a video like this before on my channel. It was a while ago. I don't know how long ago, but I did make a video talking about My Hero Academia fangirls. So go watch that if you enjoyed this one, but otherwise I'm just going to hop right into this one. This story time takes place just a couple of days ago, actually. And it all starts out one morning when I had to walk to work. And I woke up earlier than I had expected. So I got ready and didn't really have anything to do around my house. Didn't really want to sit around. So I ended up leaving my house early to go to work. And I usually walk to work. Like, I don't have to drive or anything. It's pretty close to my house. So I walked to work. But like I said, I left early. So and since I was opening, like as you all know, I work at the movie theater. And if I'm opening, I don't need to be there earlier than my shift starts. Like, there's nothing for me to do. I don't need to be in the building, so I had to find something else to do. Luckily for me, right across the road from the movie theater that I work at, there's a bookstore that opens relatively early, and so I went in there to kill some time. Now, I go into this bookstore all the time. I buy all my manga there. I buy all my books usually at this store. It's a nice store. I go there all the time, and they have a really nice collection of stuff from like comic books to manga to, actual books that normal people read. And there's just a lot of good stuff there. I also have a little coffee shop attached to it that serves food as well. And I thought about going and getting like a little bit of breakfast, but they sometimes take a while to get you your food and your coffee while you go there. So I decided against it, and instead I decided to look at books. I guess I was feeling manga this day, so I started in the manga section. Looked at my usual stuff like Chainsaw Man. Volume 14 had come out, which I still need to pick up, actually. And, I just started looking through there, seeing what they had. They had some cool stuff, but I didn't pick anything up. Now, this bookstore is set up kind of weird. I mean, it's normal, but it takes some explaining. So the manga is split into two sections, and they're on different sides of the store. So there's the main manga section, which I was in, which has most of the stuff, but not all of it. It's kind of weird because there's the other section on the other side of the store, which is considered the teen manga selection, and that's where most of the Shonen Jump stuff is, and then like a couple other things. But by that same token, some Shonen Jump stuff is in the main section, like stuff like Jujutsu Kaisen and Chainsaw Man, stuff I really like. Most of that is in the main section. I don't know how they categorize it, maybe based on like, I don't know, maybe they read it and see what's good for what audiences. But point is, it's split up like that. I finished looking at the main manga section, and I decided that I wanted to go check out the teen manga section because, there's some titles there that I like. Like, I like Black Clover a lot. I think it's pretty underrated. I know the anime is maybe not great, but I enjoyed the series myself, and I do like My Hero Academia, and they have stuff like Naruto and One Piece up there, so I decided to take a look and see what they had. So I go up there to look at the rest of the manga, and I see that there's two probably about teenage to young adults girls standing up there, and they're, talking to each other, but they seem to be in sort of an argument, but like, I wasn't trying to butt in or anything. So, I was just kind of minding my business, flipping through manga. A new Black Clover volume came out, so I was just sort of flipping through it. And as I was doing that, one of these girls looks at me and it says, "Excuse me, can you settle something for us? We just want to know which one of our ships is better." Now, unfortunately, they do not mean boats. They weren't about to take me outside the store and see which of them had a better sailboat or nothing like that, because, that would have been actually cool. These two girls were standing next to where all the My Hero Academia volumes are, and for those of you who don't know, I'm sure most of you who clicked on this video do, but for those of you who don't, My Hero Academia it's a decent anime in my opinion. I like it. I like the manga for the most part. It's a good series, but it has a reputation for having a notoriously horrible fan base. Like, for a cool like action anime like targeted at teenage boys, it has a very vast fandom of people who only care about like shipping characters with other characters. Be like, oh, this person loves this person loves this person, which it's not a romance anime, it's an action anime about superheroes. So it's very strange, and the show, it's still popular, but it used to be a lot more popular, and a lot of people I know have put off getting into it or watching it because of the fan base, which makes sense, but for context, that's where they were coming from with the whole ships thing. And so they asked me, the one girl said, "I think that Deku should end up with Bakugo, but she thinks that Deku should end up with Uraraka." Now, for some of you, that will not make sense, but those are names of characters for context. Deku is the name of the protagonist. Bakugo is the name of his rival, sort of, the Sasuke type character, the rival. You know how it is. Like, most characters in shonen manga and anime have that sort of rival character. Then Uraraka is like the main love interest. So this is, to put it into like Naruto terms here, it's like shipping Naruto with Sasuke or with Sakura. I mean, I know Naruto doesn't end up with Sakura, but you know what I mean. To put it more broadly, in case you don't watch anime or know any animes, that's like, let's say you take the main trio from Harry Potter. Should Harry end up with Ron, or should he end up with Hermione? Again, I know Harry does not end up with Hermione. Not the point. You get what the point I'm trying to make here. So I tell this girl I think her friend is right, that the main character should end up with the main love interest, who he has clearly shown interest in throughout the series. And she just kind of was like, oh, okay, I disagree, but thank you. And I just kind of keep going about my thing, just flipping through volumes until finally it is time for me to go to work. And so I get to work, and I was on washrooms this day, and I think I might have said this before in a video, but the washrooms job is basically you have to check the bathrooms to make sure everything is clean and functioning, and you also have to go around checking the actual theaters, like the auditoriums showing the movies, to make sure everything is working and the experience is good for the guests. Now, at the theater I work at, working a morning washroom shift kind of sucks because for the most part, you're also responsible for cleaning the theaters, which sometimes that is the job of someone else, whoever's on a cleans shift, but there usually isn't a cleans person until the evening, so that's usually your responsibility as well if you're on washrooms in the morning. So I'm pretty sure this was on like a Tuesday or a Wednesday when this happened, something like that. So it was pretty dead. In the morning, it's a weekday, people have school, people have work. Nobody's really going to the movies, so not a lot happened. And at about like 1 o'clock-ish, still like basically nothing had happened. And the person who was covering the podium, which is the person just taking the tickets, they went on their break, so I was covering the podium while they were gone. And against all odds, people actually came into the theater at this time, and they went up to the till, they bought their tickets, and then they came up to me and handed me their tickets. And you want to guess who these people were? They were coming to see a movie? Yeah, it was the two girls from the bookstore. Yeah, they were there to see the Demon Slayer movie. It was like the Hashira training or whatever it's called. I kind of fell off Demon Slayer. But that's what they were there to see. And they recognized me and they're like, hey, you're the guy from the bookstore. And I was like, yeah, I am. And it was a totally awkward interaction. They started asking me about Demon Slayer. They're like, oh, like, have you read Demon Slayer? Have you seen Demon Slayer? And I told them the truth. I've seen the movie and the first 2 seasons, like the first movie, the train one. And they're like, oh, like, you need to catch up. Like, the rest of it is so good. And I kind of was like, yeah, I'll have to do that. And like sent them off to their theater. I don't know if I will. Demon Slayer wasn't exactly my vibe. It wasn't bad. I liked it, but I don't know if I liked it enough to hop on every new season as it comes out. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked here. So these two girls end up being like the only people I help for this half hour that my coworker is on his break. And they're the only 2 people in this theater watching this Demon Slayer movie. And that's pretty easy. There's only 2 people in the building that we really have to worry about. So eventually my coworker gets back and I have to go do my theater checks again. So I check the washroom to make sure everything's in order. Then I started on the theater checks. And so the Demon Slayer movie was playing in auditorium number 1, which is where I started my checks. So I went in with my little, checklist to make sure everything was okay. And I encountered something that I was not exactly expecting to encounter. So like I said, these 2 girls were the only ones in this theater, right? That's a very important detail. And another kind of important detail is the seats in our theater they're kind of like in sets of 2, and it's almost like a couch. Like 2 seats kind of equals a couch, if that makes sense. So these 2 girls were on one of these couch-like things in the middle of the theater, and one of them was, on her knees, bent over with her pants not fully up, is what I'm going to say, and her backside was turned towards me. Not turned towards me as in like purposely, but she was not facing the direction I was coming from. Now, I don't think they saw me, but this one girl was bent over, like I said, and the other girl was man, how do I phrase this? Was doing things to her from behind with an object shaped like a male body part is how I'm going to put that. So I don't really feel like going over and telling them, like, can you not do this? Like, I did not want to get in the middle of this. I was not feeling it. I was actually not having a great day this day. So I didn't. I left it. I checked off all my things on the checklist, and I went and I did the rest of my checks. And eventually, once their movie got out, I had to go in and clean the theater. And unfortunately, what they were doing earlier does not mark the end of the story. So I went in to clean the theater. And normally I wouldn't really bother that much if there was just 2 people in the theater, and it probably wasn't going to be that big of a deal if I didn't clean it. But this time I knew I had to. So I went in to clean it. I went to the 2 seats that were taken, which was where these 2 girls were. They were obviously not in the theater anymore, but their seat was a complete disaster. Like, they'd gotten a bunch of food. They left their drink cups in the trays. There was like a bunch of crumbled popcorn all over their seats and everything. So, needless to say, I had to clean that and deal with the garbage. And I sanitized that chair probably like 5 or 6 times. Like, I did it over and over and over because I did not want to have to. You know what? I don't even know what I'm saying. I was not pleased with this whole endeavor. Like I said, there was popcorn all over the seat. Like, it was crumbled up and in the cracks. So I had to lift up the seat and like recline it back and stuff so that I could like get all to the popcorn and get it all fall onto the floor so I could sweep it up. And I shit you not, guys. I reclined one of these seats, and what falls out next to my feet? Not just popcorn, but the fucking dildo that they were using. It falls right next to my feet, and I swear to God, I almost threw up right then and there. I literally didn't know what to do, so I just swept it up with the popcorn and dumped it into the garbage bag and told everyone that the theater was clean. Yeah, guys, that pretty much does it for this story time. I didn't even really remember that this had happened. I guess I sort of blocked it out of my memory because it is pretty memorable. Until today at work, I was just talking with some of my coworkers about some of the grossest experiences we've had. And we also had an incident today, so that might also be a story time at some point. Anyways, like I said, that is going to wrap it up for today's story time. Moral of the story is, don't be an obsessive fangirl to the point where you have to masturbate in anime movies. Probably. Is that kind of specific? Yeah, but that is the moral of the story. Anyways, guys, that is going to do it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. Leave a like if you did, and subscribe if you're new. You all know the drill at this point, or at least I hope so. I love you all. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Later.